What's up, everybody? It's Legal Tender. Back in the building, back in the vault. I'm pulled out some notes to come at you with another little video. All right, so I want to thank everybody for the love and support on the channel. And if you're a fan of numismatics and paper currency, stay rocking with me, stay rocking with the channel. Every week I will be making a new video, just speaking about something different regarding paper currency. All right, so on today's video, I will be speaking about the $5 note and the individual on it. All right, so on the $5 bill, we have Abraham Lincoln. All right, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States, and he served from the year 1861 until 1865, until he was assassinated on April 15th, 1865. He was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater. All right, so the $5 bill dates back to the year 1914, and Honest Abe is the only one to ever be on the $5 note. So this portrait was taken by Matthew Brady on February 9th, 1864. Oh, fun fact about Abe Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the tallest United States president. He measured at 6 feet 4 inches. So on the obverse side of the note, on the reverse side of the note. All right, so on the reverse side, you have the Lincoln Memorial. All right, it's a Greek temple that was built in 1914 and dedicated in 1922. Inside the temple, you'll see a large sculpture of a seated Abraham Lincoln and two inscriptions from two of Lincoln's famous speeches. The first one being the Gettysburg Address, and the other one being his second presidential inauguration speech. All right, so the designer of the temple, his name is Henry Bacon. The sculptor of the statue, his name is Daniel Chester French, and the carvers of the statue are the Piccarelli brothers. And all that is on other notes. You can see Abraham Lincoln a little bit better. You can't really see him too well on this note right here. This note got a little wear to it, but you'll be able to see it on the other notes that I'm gonna pull out. All right, so the Treasury decided to reduce the size of all notes, starting with the series year of 1928. So as we see right here on this note, this Federal Reserve note, series year of 1928. They made this bill in a lot of different currencies. They made them in Federal Reserve notes, United States note, legal tenders, and silver certificates, and some other notes too. I'll speak about that in a second. So on this one, this legal tender, United States note, red seal, you see the series year of 1928. Now, some differences between these two notes, besides the color of the seal and the serial number, are the obligations. The obligations are the wording that's on these notes. So with this Federal Reserve note of the series year of 1928, it is 1928B. The obligation reads that, and that's all of it, top, all this right here, in the bottom. All right, so Federal Reserve note, the United States states redeemable in gold on demand at any United States Treasury or in gold or lawful money at any Federal Reserve Bank. Will pay to the bearer on demand $5. All right, so this obligation states that you could take this note to a Treasury or a Federal Reserve Bank and have this note redeemed in gold pieces. That's on this Federal Reserve note. On this United States note, that obligation reads different. Again, United States note, United States of America. This note is a legal tender at its face value for all debts, public and private, except duties on imports and interest on the public debt, will pay to the bearer on demand. At no place on this note does it says redeemable in gold. So the only thing you can redeem with this note is you could settle a debt, whether it's public or private, and you could change this in for a Federal Reserve note. So there was no gold redemptions tied to this U.S. note. Now, the next significant date in regards to the series is on the 1934 series. That gold obligation was dropped. So as it says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, and is redeemable in lawful money at the United States Treasury or any Federal Reserve Bank. So this note being redeemed in gold got dropped, and it started with this series year of 1934. So you can no longer go to a Treasury or a Federal Reserve Bank and ask to have this note redeemed in gold. So that's something different in regards to this design. And a design is just more than just the overall aesthetics of the note. It's the actual wording on the note that changes it. And those changes lead to the series being changed. In the future, I will have an episode speaking about the different obligations on different types of currency. I like this green too, that lime green, that little dirt, I don't know, like the wear of the note and that lime green coming up. I like that. All right, so the next significant date on series is, we'll be speaking about these silver certificates. All right, so the silver certificate, the redeemable in silver would have been a silver certificate. That was completely gone. They just done away with that. And you will see that the only difference of note would be the color of the Treasury seal and the numeral. As you can see, the other notes didn't have that. That Federal Reserve note didn't have the numeral to the side of it, nor did that legal tender. So on this what series is this? This 1934 silver certificate. The only thing of note is that we had the blue numeral on the left of the note, of the left of the portrait. And the reason that stand out is because on this other silver certificate, series 1953, it wasn't any major changes to the 1950s series, but on the 53 silver certificate, as you can see, the seal in the word 5 was reduced in size, and also the numeral got a little smaller, and it went from being blue to gray. The obligation, it reads just about the same. All right, so on this one it says, this certificate is legal tender for all debts, public and private. And this right here says, this certificate is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So the obligation reads the same, just a different color in regards to the numeral and the size reduction for the word 5 and the seal. So, what's this note? You see the overall just little small subtle changes, not only in the type of currency, but just the bill itself. Those notes finna change a little bit more. So got a few more to get through. And that was series 1953. They do have a series that I don't have those notes in the year 1942. There were two emergency currencies that came out. There was a Hawaii note that had a brown serial numbers, and it had the word Hawaii written on the left and the right side in black on the left side and the right side. And also Hawaii was overprinted in the back. And those notes were issued in Hawaii. And then they had emergency currency in North Africa in the Europe campaign. And the only thing with those notes is that they had a blue numeral and a yellow treasury seal. So the treasury seal would be yellow and it would have a blue numeral for whatever denomination. But since we're talking about 5, so it'd be a blue 5 and a yellow seal. And those are silver certificates as well. All right, so on this note, on series 1963, as we can see, the obligation done changed from the previous legal tender note. Pull that out. The obligation got a lot shorter in regards to the wording. And you see that the treasury seal went from the left side to the right side. And there's that number added up there on this note. But another major thing about this note right here is that on the back, the motto, "In God We Trust," was added to this note on the 1963 series. And that was across all denominations. So going through some older ones, they didn't have it on that one. In God We Trust, nothing. They didn't have it on that. No silver certificates, nothing. So that was a major addition. And with obligations, not so much obligations, but the thing that have a series change, either a whole different year or A, B, C, D, is if there's any change to the note, whether it's the signature of the Secretary of Treasury, they move the seal left to right, little things like that. And like I said, in the future, I have an episode speaking about obligations in series and what causes a series to change. So that was the 1963 note. On this note right here, this Federal Reserve note of 1995. So on the 1994 series, in the year 1994, in series of 1993, they started to add security features. And that is this little script right here. This little security thread was added as a deterrent against counterfeiting. As you can see it, it says, you can see it right now, it says USA all the way down. USA going down. So that was one of the first security features that was added to currency. On the next note we have, this note is from a series 1999. This is what they call a monochrome note. But mono meaning one, there's only one tone of color going throughout this note. I call it like a olive drab color. Besides that olive drab, of course, with it being a Federal Reserve note, the seal gonna be green serial numbers. This one has some updated security features as well. If you could see that portrait right there of Abraham Lincoln was added to it. And also, we still got the security script right there, the security thread. going all the way down. And on this right here, these side borders, I needed a magnifying glass for this one right here. As I pull it out, it may just look like a bunch of random lines, but actually inside of those little drawings, the word $5 is in it. You can see it a little bit, not very good, but if you have this note and you got a magnifying glass, you will see that in each one of those little circle angular designs, the word $5 is in every last one of them. And that is a security feature that they call micro printing. That is bananas, honestly. Like, I had no idea until like I looked up some information about this note and whatnot. That's just how much of a fan I am about paper currency. $5, like all the way in. It says $5 all the way in. On the obverse. On the reverse side of the note. All right, so now you can see Abe a little bit better. You got Abe sitting down right there. And he was sculpted by Daniel Chester French and carved out by the Piccarelli brothers. All right, so you got 1 of 4 numerals that's filled in with darker colors, and also with this is a pretty clean note. On top of the memorial, you have the states that were actually states during the production of this note, the printing of this note, as seen. So if you was looking at this memorial, those would be the states you'll be able to see, and it's 28 of them. The other 22 states will be on the sides and on the back. But this monochrome note, man, I like it. It's a very clean, like sleek note. I want to like get the whole collection of this series. So thus far I got 3 more to get. So, all right, moving on. The next one is we have the colorized note. All right, so in the year, well, on May 24th, 2000, the United States Treasury decided to upgrade their security features and redesign this note. And going back, speaking of redesign, this note right here, the first time this note had a major redesign since the year 1929. So with this series, this is the first time this note ever got redesigned from all the way back to the year 1929. And now it's only a short time later. If this was introduced in a series of 1999, in 2000, they decided to come up with a better design and more security features. So in 2006, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing decided to upgrade the note. In 2007, they showed a design to the public, and this note entered circulation on March 13th, 2008, with a gang of security features. So if you could see, going back to the old note right fast, the differences. All right, so as you can see, more freedom was put on this note right here. So we have a symbol of freedom right there with the nation's national symbol, the American bald eagle, and it being, this portrait being encircled in stars. This monochrome note didn't have any of those designs added to it. So we got a lot more color with this newer note. Freedom symbols, a lot of security features. If you could see, I call this a Ghost 5. So we have, instead of having that portrait of Abraham Lincoln right there, we have the numeral 5 right there, this watermark. And over here to the left of the portrait, how can I angle it? I'm trying to angle it to where you can see it, because there are a column of 3 5s that go down. There we go. All right, so see it right there. 1, 2, 3. A column of 3 5s. Another watermark. Micro printing, still the same on these borders right here. That say $5 on both sides. More micro printing on the shield. You have the word E pluribus unum that goes all the way across. It's just at the top though. Again, you're gonna need either a microscope or a magnifying glass to see it. It took me a while to zoom in on that one, but it's right there. All right, so these circles right here, that's 0, 5. It's not just some random numbers put up here. These 0, 5s actually form a star constellation, and the constellation is called Orion. And these little yellow 05 configurations are known as anti-photocopy deterrents. So because of these circles right here, if you try to copy this note, the copying machine will not do it, because like the pattern of these circles will not allow this note to be copied. That is crazy, but that's what we got. Also, a few more security features. All right, so we have a larger 5 in the lower right hand corner, and this was in place to help the visually impaired. And one more addition for micro printing. On the back of this note right here, in small letters just at the top, you have USA 5 going across. If you got a note like this and a magnifying glass, you'll be able to see everything that I'm telling you about. So they put a lot of work in on this $5 bill right here, boy. Like a lot of security features added to it. And that's just on this design. So throughout the years, it's been the upgrades in designs have taken place. And they have only got more and more advanced. The next design that's planned by the Bureau of Printing and Engraving is to take place on, the bill would be redesigned on March 7th, 2032. So it's a lot going on with Abe, man. Abe had a lot going on. But that's all we got for this video. So if you like it, rock with me. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell for more notifications, things like that. All right, so I'm finna lay all these notes out, get a picture up fast. Hold on 1 second. All right, and we're back. All right, so that's just a real cool look, man. Just the overall like evolution of the design and whatnot. I can't wait to see what the next series look like. But we'll have to wait for that one. All right, so that's all we got. Till next time, keep it legal, keep it tender. Talk to you soon.